Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the new Morde AD carry. So this is kind of something that's coming with the last patch, and we've seen a lot of Mordekaiser bot lane, and honestly he's really strong, and I've got so many questions about him, so we're going to have a little talk about him. So there are a ton of different ways to build Morde, but the most common one right now is similar to a bruiser, kind of like Irelia or Jax. You need to build damage, but you also want to be tanky as well, because you're going to have to be right next to people to do damage. Now when you actually do get close enough to someone, he has a ton of damage. He's really hard to kill with his heals and his shields, and he has an incredible early to mid game. He has an insane win rate at the moment, and hopefully this video is going to go over kind of why and how you play him, but also how you beat him. The first interesting thing to kick this off is actually Morde has an insane 60% win rate in games lasting less than like 25 minutes, but if a game goes later, his win rate falls a lot to under 50% past 40 minutes. So the first thing then, why does it even work? The biggest thing is his W passive means that you won't be sharing experience anymore, like you don't get the reduced amount, and it means that you'll always be getting levels first. If you weren't exactly sure, then when a minion dies it splits experience with everyone around, so in a duo lane you'll both be getting a reduced amount of experience. Now with this passive it means that yes, your support will be getting that reduced amount, but you'll still level as fast as if you were in a solo lane, which is pretty ridiculous. To give you an idea as well, I even died to Jinx in one game. I missed a few waves for the tower and I still hit level 6 before her. Also, a big thing with Morde is that you can push so well with your E, and ADs don't really come with wave clear. I mean, a couple do have some wave clear, but it's not very good. It's not as good as yours anyway, so they have no way to push as hard as you and are forced under tower. This is actually a big problem for ADs, like they miss CS under tower, and more importantly, they can't fight you and trade with you because they're too busy using their auto attacks to try and farm. Right, so that's why he works, but where does his damage actually come from? And the weird thing is, well, like Morde scales well with both AD and AP, so you can do damage in a ton of different ways, but it's important to remember that his abilities do magic damage. Now his Q actually scales better with AD, his W slightly with AP, his E scales equally with AD and AP, and your ultimate scales with AP. So that's kind of confusing, right? Like his abilities mix and match between the two, and that's kind of why your build is going to mix and match as well. Now most of his damage early is going to come from the poke from his E, but once you get later into the game you really need to be careful of his Q. His Q is 3 empowered auto attacks, and it does at least double the damage of the last attack, so if he ever gets all 3 autos on you, then you're really gonna hurt. When we're looking at skill order, masteries, runes, that stuff, even if you're gonna build him AD, because of his scaling and that he does magic damage, you want to be using AP runes and masteries. Pretty much how like England has an amazing range of tea, like there are hundreds of tea brands for some stupid reason, and when they all pretty much taste the same, there are probably tons of different combinations that would work well with his runes, but these are the ones that I've been using so far. Skill order, I've tried both maxing Q and E, and I prefer maxing E and then Q afterwards. Like your Q does do a ton of damage, but you're going to be finding it hard to walk up to someone in lane and actually get those 3 attacks off. Like honestly, they're just going to run away. It's not just how difficult it is to get your Q off, but it's also that E is kind of more useful. Like you can use it to poke the enemy AD, you can use it to push the wave, and in general I just think it's a little bit better. So those are your runes, masteries, skill order and stuff, and now this is kind of the build, and much like the T thing, there are so many different combinations that you could have of items and still win a game. This is the build I've been using, and it's kind of this more bruiser build rather than building full AP and going for burst. It gives you good damage, you have low cooldowns to make use of the Triforce and Sheen, and it also makes you pretty tanky, which you need to survive in team fights. So having Triforce and Sterix is really good because it boosts your Sheen proc even more and you just do a ton of damage, but the shield when you get low is crazy. Like between that and your passive shield, you last so long in team fights. As I said before, like building a mix is actually fine because your abilities scale well with both AP and AD. So after those two, I tend to get a Rylai's. It lets you slow people and stick to them while fighting, as you don't actually have any crowd control or anything like that, and the rest is just defense with a little bit of damage as well. Now this is actually one of the questions I get asked most, and who is he good with? And well, really in bot lane you want to be abusing your early to mid game strength as much as possible, so anyone who is good early is probably best. Like Leona, Blitzcrank, Thresh are the ones that I've loved playing with the most so far, but actually Janna is really good as well because she keeps you alive even longer. Like her shield plus Mordekaiser's shield plus Sterix, and then the heal from her and the heal from you as well, it's just ridiculous in team fights. Like you just don't die. So the final thing, how you actually beat it, and I think I'm probably going to do a separate video on like how to counter Mordekaiser, but here really there are 2 ways to beat Morde. You either punish him early before he gets any items if you can outdo his wave clear clear, or if you can keep him away from the wave to stop him pushing, then he's actually pretty weak and he has no way to last hit. The other way is that you just wait out his insane mid game. Like if you can't shut him down in lane, that's fine, just back off a little bit, don't fight him, and then lock him down in team fights with crowd control. Now Morde is insanely strong, right? Don't get me wrong, but he needs to be next to you to do damage, and it's not easy for him to run through everyone to do it. So hopefully that gives you a general idea of why you will be picking AD Morde, how you play it, and the kind of things that you should expect, and also how you should beat it as well. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, but as always, I'll catch you in my next video.